While we're already halfway through the month, it's worth taking the time to run through all the Japanese games releasing in English. And no, Ghost of Tsushima doesn't count. This is a stacked month with everything from visual novels to Nintendo exclusives represented. Here's 5 things you need to know about Japanese game releases in July 2020. Last year, the kickstarted Bloodstained Ritual of the Night released, calling back to the gameplay of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. However, as one of their stretch goals, they also released Bloodstained Curse of the Moon in 2018, which instead took inspiration from the classic Castlevania titles. And with the popularity of that title, Curse of the Moon 2 was announced and released recently, expanding on the original. It does look like Bloodstained could become an expansive franchise in the same way Castlevania was. But when you can't remake the past, just bring it back. With the success of the Samurai Showdown reboot, SNK are bringing 7 Samurai Showdown titles to modern consoles. That's cool in itself, but what's really interesting is that they've bundled in a load of interviews with the team, giving players the chance to not just play the games, but also find out how they were made. Curse of the Moon 2 is out now, while Samurai Showdown's Neo Geo collection releases July 28. Speaking of bringing back the past, Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town is getting a remake in the form of Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town. Because remember, Story of Seasons is Harvest Moon, and Harvest Moon is a series run by Natsume, who scalped the brand. Unless you're talking about Harvest Moon games pre-2015, in which case they're good. So, don't buy Harvest Moon, buy Story of Seasons, because Story of Seasons is Harvest Moon. Simple, right? Anyways, with all that confusing stuff out of the way, Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town is a remake of Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, a GBA title that was in itself a remake of Harvest Moon Back to Nature. You know what, screw it. It's out July 14th in the States. The Doraemon game is also coming out on PS4 in Japan, making it the first Story of Seasons game on a PlayStation console. It'll be out in the West in September on the platform. Also, in terms of Japan-only releases, we're seeing 3 new visual novel titles, 2 of which are from major franchises and 1 is confirmed for a Western release. The one getting an overseas release is Root Film, the sequel to Root Letter, the Japanese visual novel getting a Hollywood film adaptation, if you can believe it. This is one of Kadokawa Games' largest original properties, so there's a lot riding on it. The other major franchise release is Hakuoki Shinkai Ginsei no Sho, a part of the Otome Hakuoki series, which has found itself released in the West in the past, and it's possible Ginsei no Sho will meet the same fate. That said, due to the niche audience, you can expect to wait a year in the least. Finally, there's Yoru Tomosu, a horror visual novel from Nippon Ichi with eerie folklore-esque vibes. The game is illustrated by artist Calming, who's more known for their drawings showing a regular daily life, but this game is something a bit different. When Paper Mario: The Origami King was first announced, there was a lot of excitement that since fizzled after early previews that show a somewhat basic battle system. Although the game has a seriously creative visual style that expands on the paper theme, there's a lot of people desperate for a proper Mario RPG experience. The latest Nintendo Treehouse Live presentation for the event is at 30% dislikes on YouTube. But at least we know what people generally think about Origami King, because Deadly Premonition 2's reception has been wild. The latest title from Swery65, like the original, follows an FBI agent investigating a case that creeps into the supernatural. The surreal story has gripped a lot of people, but it's worth noting that massive performance issues have made it difficult to enjoy for others. While Swery has always wanted to appeal to Western fans with realistic aesthetics, Bandai Namco knows that all we really want is anime, and are thus releasing 3 of them this month. Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris, Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs Maxi Boost On, and Fairy Tail. Unlike the other 2, this is Fairy Tail's first console game, developed by the Atelier creators at Gust, and follows the events of the series' last few major arcs. Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris has a similar premise, but instead of following the events of the original story, it twists them to create a sort of alternate universe premise, with new characters and locations, with the help of original author Reki Kawahara. Meanwhile, Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs Maxi Boost On is the console version of the latest arcade release, letting you battle with characters and mechs from pretty much every Gundam series up to date. Sword Art Online is out now, while Gundam will release July 30 and Fairy Tail will be out July 31st. Thanks for watching OTAQUEST in Japan. Feel free to subscribe to find out more about the art and creation of Japanese pop culture.